Do you have TikTok brain? Today we are going to find out. Are you feeling less productive lately? This might have to do with your brain. Here's a simple test that you can do. Number one, do you scroll in the middle of your workday instead of working and do you feel like you struggle to control it? Number two, do you get bored easily? Number three, do simple life tasks like chores feel like they're taking too long? Number four, do you watch videos on 2x speed? If you answered yes to some of these or all of these, you have a TikTok brain. That's okay. Let's figure out what this is about and how to deal with it. You can get a TikTok brain even if you don't use TikTok app, because our media and social media is so stimulating that our attention has changed over the years. Social media like Instagram packs a lot of information into a reel. It's very salient, it's very fast paced. And your relatives are constantly sharing on social media things they had for lunch and how their local Karen made them feel in the store just now. That's an equivalent of phoning your family 5 times a day to find out what's going on. You would have never done that in the past, but now that you're on social media, you're getting all of that information coming to you all the time. And if you don't want to follow what's going on, the social media will do the work for you. It's still going to grab your attention with things like really attractive headlines and hooks that trigger your emotions. Have you noticed when you go on YouTube, you feel like clicking on these colorful visuals and the attention-grabbing headlines suck you in? Mr. Beast and his team have perfected this algorithm. Netflix series and movies have so much going on. They're so fast-paced. And if you talk to movie buffs, you'll find out that actually the number of cuts per minute has increased dramatically in our movies nowadays, in our TV series, compared to even the 1990s. There is also more. There is sex, drama, violence, and stuff like politics that is gonna hook your attention and hold on to it. Remember how protagonists used to be the good guys? Well, now you have this dark attraction thing, dark way of grabbing your attention with all of these protagonists that are drug dealers, murderers, and so on and so forth. And news is everywhere too, constantly jolting your emotions and competing for your attention. Remember when news weren't on social media? And now they're published everywhere. You can't even escape them when you're waiting for a train. So you might not even realize that overstimulation is a problem because you're so used to what's going on, but your brain is dealing with a lot right now. And if you're feeling foggy and kind of tired and like you're distracted all the time, just know this is not your fault. This is the TikTok brain created by overstimulation. Here is what you should know. Your brain right now is not the same brain you had in the 1990s. The author of the Information Anxiety book and the scientist who researched information overwhelm and information structuring has written in the 1990s that a weekly edition of the New York Times contains more information than the average person was likely to come across in a lifetime in 17th century England. We are talking about the 90s. This is when that book was published. And 35 years later, things just got much worse for your brain. You are overstimulated. If you're an adult using the internet, living in the city, then I can guarantee that your brain is under strain. And that's why you sometimes think about moving to a farm. That's why sometimes you're tired, burnt out, and everyone seems to have adult onset ADHD. And anxiety went from a relatively rare disorder to being a part of life for everyone who lives in the city. So what is overstimulation? Well, when the number of inputs gets overwhelming for the brain and it can't process them, the brain gets fatigued. And modern life has many of these things stimulating your attention and competing for your ability to process them. Articles, blogs, podcasts, movies, news, advertising, video games, new technology like the latest iPhone and whatever else, light pollution, highly palatable food, and stimulants like coffee. And yes, this video is part of the stimulating information stream coming at you. But here I'm trying to at least educate you on the situation and help you make some choices that will make you feel better. because we are all mentally obese. That's right. We are consuming stimulating things which release dopamine, and that makes us crave more dopamine. As a result, we are consuming more. And if you compare our information diet in the 90s to what we are consuming and how much we are consuming today, we are over consuming, and it's making us mentally obese. That's why everyone is experiencing brain fog, they're feeling cloudy and tired all the time. This is also why you may feel unmotivated, and it's not your fault. It's overstimulation. So, what is the solution? The solution is to fix your TikTok brain. And how do you do that? First and foremost, you do that by cutting back on overstimulation. So, cut out the information that you can spare, you don't need to consume. And to do that, you first need to analyze what you consume throughout the day and what is the essential stuff that you want to keep. Because you don't need to cut out everything, and you just need to figure out what you can use so you can keep working and keep enjoying your life, but you're gonna need to curate your informational diet. And this is something that I've done successfully with my clients in the past, where we figure out what they are consuming and we create clarity and we put everything on the shelf, and then we figure out, okay, maybe I don't need this anymore and I need to declutter. And when you declutter, your informational diet becomes more healthy, you're becoming less stimulated, and you are becoming more focused. That's how a dopamine booster works. And this is something that my clients like doing because they get all this mental space that gets freed up after they curate their diet. Everyone needs to do this nowadays. Nobody's gonna do this for you, okay? Nobody's coming to fix this issue. Nobody is fixing your TikTok brain, because we are in an environment that is competing for your attention, and we're just having more and more and more people coming online, offering more information, more services. Things are speeding up with AI. It's gonna be up to you whether you are going to be in control of your cognitive faculties and your ability to focus and have the energy left over to live your life or not. This is where we're at. And that is how your brain is different from the 90s to the brain you have now. And next, I'm going to talk to you about the ways that media can catch our attention and how to stay ahead of that curve. I'm going to make a bold claim. I think that our patience and ability to focus has been made obsolete by the media technology convenience complex. What is the media technology convenience complex? Well, it's all of this fun stuff that we've created that makes it easy for ourselves to get stuff. And everything I shared might sound dark because it's got these ways of holding onto your attention and is just all overpowering and huge. And maybe you're even enjoying being stuck in this kind of rat race and hamster wheel of chasing information and getting your dopamine hits from it. But don't worry, there is actually an easy way to get out of this if you're interested in reclaiming your attention. And I'm here to share some of the ways that media controls your attention and how our convenience society is controlling your attention, so that you can start climbing out of this dopamine abyss. You need to start learning the tricks. So the main trick is availability. Cheap dopamine is everywhere. And you can get a dopamine jolt from literally anything nowadays. It's so readily available, you don't have to work for it. You can go on TikTok and you can scroll. It will find you. You don't even have to do anything to go out there to be overstimulated. You are on Amazon and you are instantly ordering something that takes almost no time to get to you. You get the dopamine hit from it because you've shortened the cycle now between wanting something and getting it. DoorDash will get your greasy takeout treat to you in no time as well. And you are on that dating app chatting to a stranger without needing to dress up, make an effort, look somebody in the eyes. And again, you're getting that dopamine jolt fast. You can even skip the coffee line at the coffee shop because you can just pre-order online. This is all convenient and awesome, but what is it doing to our brain? Well, we are creatures of comfort now more than ever. And what's happening is that our brain is becoming lazy and tired because of it. Because the way it works is like this: your brain will reinforce your preferred behavior. If you prefer ordering takeout on a regular basis, then your brain will reward you with dopamine every time you do that, and you will reinforce that pathway. And soon you'll have a strong habit of eating unhealthy. The worst part about it is that it will actually make it feel like cooking at home is too much effort, all because you taught your brain that it is rewarding to chase this cheap dopamine path that is, easy. And you'll want to change that if you want to have a fulfilling life. In my experience, there is no two ways about it. So the way you want to change it is by starting to get your dopamine not from those cheap sources, but from the healthy sources. And that is by doing things that are difficult and maybe even unpleasant. Because guess what? Just the way your brain rewards you for doing easy, convenient stuff, it also rewards you for doing stuff that is not so convenient and not so easy. You can actually build your dopamine pathways, and you can build them doing anything. Even if you don't enjoy doing it, you can teach yourself to feel rewarded from that. And that's precisely why some people get into exercise, start loving it, and then crave it. That is why things like cold showers or starting on your website updates can feel really enjoyable once you build the new neural pathway to reinforce that inconvenient, hard behavior with dopamine. And so you can switch from getting your dopamine from the easy sources and the cheap sources that inevitably kind of drive you down the pathway of relaxing your brain and making it lazy, towards actually strengthening your brain and becoming better and more resilient at challenging yourself or dealing with life's challenges, which there are plenty of nowadays. Is it worth making the switch? It definitely is, but you might be hesitant deep down because you're not ready to let go of those conveniences of life, and that's fine. You don't have to, but you need to have the balance in your life tilted towards getting your dopamine from healthy sources. And I definitely learned that the hard way, because I wasn't ready to let go of the conveniences of life until I burnt out and lost $25,000 to trying to fix that. So my clients find it quite easy and convenient to rebuild their dopamine pathways because I have ways of gamifying it and I use humor in my coaching. This is kind of like my signature approach. So it never feels heavy or too unsurmountable because we actually kind of make it into almost a game of life. And in my personal opinion, I found that there are no two ways about it. If you want to have a good life, a happy life, then you're gonna need to regulate your dopamine ways and you're gonna need to get your dopamine from the healthy sources and to deprioritize those cheap dopamine ways, because in the end of the day, those are the things that make you more lazy, more burnt out, and more tired. So if you're ready to take control of your attention, you want better focus and productivity and increase your natural feel-good hormones in your body, then definitely check out my newsletter where I share about the new way that I help professionals like yourself do that in as little as just one session to get started.